Hey folks, welcome back. And this week we're going to continue with last week's theme of property taxes. I know, right? So much fun. But this week we're going to talk about how to actually save you guys money on property taxes. Specifically, we're going to be talking about transferring property tax base for those of you guys 55 or older, severely disabled, or victims of natural disasters and wildfire. And next we're going to do part 2 of Prop 19, which is going to be inheritance, or what I call legacy of Prop 19. So you guys ready? Let's get into this.
California Prop 19 passed in 2020 that changed property tax rules for inherited properties and expanded tax portability for seniors, the severely disabled, and victims of natural disasters and wildfires. So we'll get into the inherited properties next week, and this week I want to focus on the expanded tax portability for seniors, the disabled, and the victims of natural disaster. So we're going to do a quick overview of Prop 19, who's actually eligible, the process of transferring it, and the limitations, because we are talking about California. There's always limitations to all of that. So again, Prop 19 passed in November of 2020, and of course it benefits older homeowners. I don't want to say senior because I'm inching that number 55 every single day. Victims of natural disasters, and of course the severely disabled, through transferring their existing property tax base to their replacement home. Major revisions. So previously, Prop 6090 only allowed those over the age of 55 or older to be able to transfer their tax base to the replacement home. With Prop 19, they actually added the victims of natural disaster and those that were severely disabled. So they actually expanded who was able to take advantage of that tax portability. Again, eligibility by age. So if you're 55 or older, if you're severely disabled, and again, you have to qualify about what they mean by severely disabled, and of course, victims of natural disaster after you've been displaced by the disaster. Also, the previous Prop 6090 only allowed those over the age of 55 to transfer your tax base once. With Prop 19, they're now allowing you to transfer your property tax base 3 times. So they've actually expanded the number of times that you can actually transfer that tax base, which is amazing, right? Because average years that people are living in their homes is between 7 to 8 years, and people are living longer these days, so which is amazing. And also, with Prop 60 and 90, previously, they only allowed you to transfer your property tax base to those counties that were participating in the Prop 90. Well, with the change in the Prop 19, it is now allowed to be transferred statewide. So you can go to any county statewide and be able to take your property tax base with you anywhere you go. So now you can go anywhere you want in the entire state instead of being limited to the 10 counties that was actually participating previously with Prop 60 and 90. So which is amazing news for those seniors and now the severely disabled and the victims of natural disasters or wildfires. Haha, this is the good part, the math. So how does that actually benefit you, right? So let's get down to the nitty-gritty of it. I mean, I am Asian. If I'm good at anything, it's math. All right. So the eligible homeowners can enjoy significant tax savings by reducing their overall financial burden and improving affordability. Okay, so let's do the math, right? California property taxes are between 1% to 1.25%, right? I mean, let's not get into the Melrose and all that stuff. Let's just say 1% to 1.25%. And for simple math, let's just say 1%. So this is actually real live example. I actually took it from one of my friends' property that he actually owns here in Simi Valley, California. So his house is actually worth $800,000. Yes, I did actually look it up. I mean, lazy way, but I did look it up. His house is actually worth $800,000. And he bought it eons ago. When I say eons, it's like 30 some odd years ago. He bought it eons ago. And the county assessors currently has his house assessed at $277,400, right? So currently, for the year, he's paying like $2,700 or $2,800, right? To be precise, let's just say at 1%, he's paying $2,774. And he's always told me that, hey, if I ever move, Mary, I want to move to the beach. All right, let's move you to the beach. So let's say he wants to go move to San Diego or Orange County. Well, let's just say San Diego, and he wants to go move to a beach county, to a condo because, I mean, come on. And let's say he decides to buy a condo for $900,000 down in San Diego County. Well, he's selling his house here in Simi Valley for $800,000, decides to buy a condo in San Diego for $900,000. His new assessed value is going to be $377,400. Well, how did I come up with that number? 900,000 subtract 800 is 100,000. Now add 100,000 to his current assessed value of 277,400 gives you the new assessed value of 377,400. So now his new property tax is going to be $3,774 a year. Now, this is where the huge tax saving comes in. He's going to save himself $5,226 a year. Okay, mind you, we're going off of property taxes is 1%, right? So 1% of 900,000, 1% of 900,000 would be 9,000. Now, if you take 9,000 and subtract $3,774, you get $5,226 a year. So he'll be saving $5,226 a year by porting his current tax base over to his new home. Okay, so let's look at some deadlines and filings. Okay, to qualify for this tax-based value transfer, it has to be filed with your county assessors within 3 years of the date of purchase or the completed construction of the replacement property. Now, here are some restrictions. The original property, so the property that you sold, must be your primary residence, and your new property that you're purchasing must also be your primary residence, and the sale and the purchase has to be within 2 years. So you sold your house and you bought a new home, those have to be within 2 years. Okay, and it cannot be a secondary home, and it cannot be a vacation home. So it has to be a primary home. So the replacement property can be purchased within 2 years before or after the sale of the original property. Now, there's also a little bit of nuance there too with the price. If you sold a home and if you buy it a year after you sold it, did you know you can actually go up to 105%? If you buy it in the second year, you can actually go up to 110% of the value. Just note. So what does this impact me for you guys? Well, Prop 19 allows multiple transfer of tax bases, increasing the flexibility of homeowners to move without penalty or losing your property taxes, tax savings, and now also allows you to move to higher value homes. So with Prop 60 and 90, you are only allowed to port your property tax base for those homes that were equal or less or lesser value. With Prop 19 now, you can actually port your tax value to any home value. So it doesn't have to be equal or less. You can actually go higher, as I showed you in the example. And it also helps with the market value, right? Because you're no longer stuck in that home because you can now transfer that property tax base over and over and over, at least 3 times over, to your new home. So there you go, folks. That's Prop 19, transfer of property tax bases for those that are 55 or older. I refuse to say seniors because I'm inching that number ever so closely. So for those of you guys that are 55 or older, severely disabled, or a victim of natural disasters.
If you guys are 55 or older, severely disabled, or was a victim of a natural disaster or wildfire, and has bought or sold a home in the last 3 years and have not taken advantage of that property tax base transfer, reach out to me so that I can help you guys get started. And if this video has been helpful to you, hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe and smash that notification buttons because we're coming out with new videos every single Thursday. And remember to comment on all the topics that you guys want to know about on real estate so I can get those videos out to you guys. And as always, thank you for your trust and confidence, and I'll see you guys all next time.